Hey everyone, welcome to the Boomer Bytes Podcast. I'm your host, Augie Anderson, and this is episode 3. I'm so excited. And this podcast is the why behind I made the decision to do the Boomer Bytes Podcast. And there's a story behind it. And the reason I want to share it is because I feel a lot of people are going through transitions or situations, and we get stuck. That's really the truth of the matter. We get stuck, and especially as you age, um, it's a little bit different. You think, oh, what can I do? How can I recreate myself? And I have been having those had been having those thoughts. I was the real estate broker for 30 years this year. So that's been my past. And it was a great career for me, honestly. But I had an incident happen last year where I had a fraudulent sale. And it was quite devastating, honestly. Um, it was unexpected, obviously. And it's interesting how I found out. I'm going to give you the Reader's Digest version of what happened. Um, a perpetrator, portrayed themselves as an owner of vacant land in Germany. They sent me a driver's license and a passport that was fake. And we actually closed on the sale. Now, this is how I found out that it was fraudulent. They tried to do it again. They sent me the gentleman or whatever, whoever they were, who said they had the vacant land. He said, I had some friends in other countries. Could I help them? And I said, sure. And I really didn't think anything about it because we're in the space coast. There are people from all over the world that come here. And so that did not really faze me. There were people that were in other countries that would have land and maybe want to sell it, right? Here's what happened. When I started getting the emails sounded just the same tone of the person that said they were from Germany. Well, I asked for the passport and the license for identification. And this time when I got it, something looked suspect. So my husband did a Google search of the image on the passport, and it was a 100% match to some state representative in Texas. And this guy was saying he's from Canada. So that was the telltale sign. And I had sold the land to a very good builder friend of mine. I've known him 30 years. He's amazing, good friend, but he was very understanding. And I called him, and so I called him about these other 2 lots I was listing, and then we put them under contract. And then I said to him, something's not right. This is before I did the Google search. Don't do the deposit. Something's not right, because I was feeling icky. Something wasn't right. So then when I found the Google match, I had to contact, my friend, the builder, and say, it's a fraud. We're not moving forward. It's a fraud. He goes, what about the Germany deal? And I went, I'm pretty sure it's the same person. And we're gonna investigate further. Well, it turns out it was a fraud. And they actually created a fake seal for the American consulate. I mean, they went all out with hiding who they really were. I mean, they got away with it because everything looked very genuine. And I think what happens is people then, oh, I got away with it. Now they can get sloppy. Well, the builder was taken care of. That's why you have title insurance, and that's so important. But after that all occurred, I went to oh my gosh, a very dark, dark place where I felt uncertain. I felt I didn't want to do this anymore. I really struggled with what do I do next? What do I want to do? I don't like this. And I'd already have been having some thoughts about it's time to maybe think of doing something else. So it's odd how things come to us to create change. Sometimes they come in a crashing bolt of reality to help us make a shift. And that's what happened to me. And fortunately, I was going deeper into that dark rabbit hole. And then I went, enough is enough. And I realized at that time, I was not living my best life. And I was letting fear take over because now I'm afraid of trusting people and it's scary and so many things that just go through your mind about feeling unsafe. I think it's feeling unsafe, feeling uncertain. Many of us go through that. And then I thought, how many people are like me going through some type of struggle? Because let's face it, as we're aging, different things are occurring in our life. And then I went, I want to do something different. And honestly, I prayed on it. And I said, what do I really like to do? And I've always loved doing the videos. Not everybody loves that, but I've always loved speaking. If you know me, I was on Phil Donahue in the 80s, reached 30 million people with my message of blending families after divorce. And I went, that voice is still there. That's something I can use to maybe help other people with just being a source of conversation. I think is the best way to describe it, is to be a source of conversation with, hey, a lot of people are going through something and a lot of people are having joy. This is not all, oh, there's all things going wrong. This is about living your best life. And that means having fun and traveling, enjoying your family, your friends, despite something that may be in the background of your life causing conflict. We still get to live our best life. Some of us are taking care of parents that are elderly. Some have Alzheimer's and it's very difficult. And some have, lost a spouse like I did. My husband died, 30 years married, died very suddenly. And even then I had to figure out, how do I get back to living life again? So, I've had a lot of things I have recovered from. Those I've always been a baby boomer, but I was younger and able to maybe manage better. And now as we age, I think if we're struggling with anything, it's good to have conversation. That's what I think. I'm not a therapist. I am not a psychologist. I'm not a counselor, but I am someone that's willing to talk about the tough stuff and the fun stuff, because it's not all bleak. But if you're not living your best life, why not? And if not now, when? Time is a precious commodity, and we never get to go back in time, and we never get to capture anything from our past. We just have memories. And if you're dragging around stuff that doesn't pertain to now, if you need someone to give you permission to let go, I'm giving you that permission. Let go. Let go of the stuff that doesn't matter. Let go of past problems, situations, resentments. Put them to rest. Find a way. Write a letter. Light a candle. Do whatever it takes to let go of the crap and embrace the joys of life, because there are many. And that's what this podcast is about baby boomers living their best life and talking about the things that help us do so. And now, I went from, oh my God, what do I do? That I'm juggling quite a few different things. I'm also the FSBO advisor. I decided not to be a member of the board of realtors anymore. I quit the Space Coast Association of Realtors. Nothing against them. They were good to me for many, many years. It's a great association. I just wanted to go down a different path. And I decided I wanted to help for sale by owners because I feel like all those appraisal gaps are going to cause an issue with the market, and people are going to be either on a very thin margin or very upside down. So I have a great program. I'm saving sellers thousands and thousands of dollars. So that's one of my ventures. I have the Sunflowers Venture Store on Amazon, and I'm going to be doing videos and things of that nature based on recommendations of things that I think are beneficial. A Healthy Life Advocate, that's healthylifeadvocate.com. I'm part of living your best life is being healthy. How can you enjoy life if you're not healthy? And recently, my husband and I listened to a podcast, and it was about how awful foods are that have preservatives in them. And I'm telling you, if you start reading the ingredients along with the nutrition label, you will be absolutely flabbergasted because it's changed my whole mentality. Um, During my dark time, I gained weight. I'm letting go of it though. I'm going to release weight joyfully. I'm not going to be a mess or disappointed or whatever. It's just weight and it'll come off. I'm exercising. I want to be healthy. I'm I've really made a big difference with getting rid of those preservative type foods. And it's a process, honestly, to shift over, but it's doable. It's really doable. So my whole thing is, I want to be a voice and a resource to people, things. I'm doing this one by myself because I thought my story needed to be told, how I got here, how I arrived. But I'll be interviewing people because I just love other people's input because they make, they're credible in what they do. I really look for people that are knowledgeable, really know what they're doing. I love interviewing. When I was in college and I was the assistant editor of the college newspaper, I got to interview Ed Asner. He was my first big time interview. And at the time, he was the president of SAG. And it was an amazing experience. It was really, truly, it's a highlight still of my life, along with being on Phil Donahue. Of course, I loved meeting Phil. It was great. And that message has really blossomed because more and more people today do have better relationships now after divorce. And they're being kinder, more thoughtful to their children. Not everywhere, not everyone, but it's better. It's better than it ever was. And my husband Ray and I'm very fortunate because we are on very friendly terms with his ex-wife. She's lovely. And we manage to always have celebrations together, as it should be. We're grandparents now. We want to share these momentous occasions together, right? And we can. The bottom line is we can. We have to change what's between our ears, our mindset. If we change our mindset, we can be anything that we want to be. And now I feel like I'm thriving, I'm flourishing. I love that I'm doing this Boomer Bytes podcast, which leads me into another reason. I know how many elderly people are suffering, and I want to bring attention to the great resources that are out there to help. I really am a fan of Helping Seniors of Brevard. They're a great organization. They provide a lot of resources to people. I saw on a television show a couple in their mid 70s couldn't afford the rent for their home, and they had to leave, and then they were living in their car. It's wrong. It's just wrong on so many levels. What resources are out there to help them? They did nothing wrong. There's not enough money to have a roof over their head, to have gas in their car, to have food on the table. I think those of us that are in a better situation can help those that are not, because these are not deadbeats. These are not lowlifes. These are people just truly struggling. And I want to help every organization that is out there honestly in the nation, but I'm starting with my community, which reaches my state, Florida, and then of course the nation, because Boomer Bytes Podcast is for everyone everywhere. It's not limited to this one little area that I'm in on the Space Coast. So reinventing yourself can be fun, and I have lots and lots of topics that I plan to discuss. I believe aging with integrity, with joy, and not fretting that, oh my God, I have lines on my face. And no, or this. No, that's not a good look. Okay, so I think we've gone away from at being joyful about where we're at this time in our life is amazing. It's amazing. Grandchildren and freedom to go where you want to go. If you're doing better, if you're in a situation where you can travel. People are afraid to travel. I'm going to have one of my guests is going to be a gal who travels everywhere, all over the place, and she's going to talk about maybe eliminating some fears and how to travel safely. So we'll be including that. So this is the journey of being a baby boomer that's thriving, that is enjoying life, living your best life. So that's my story. I'm happy to share it with you. I'm going to allow myself, as my son Ryan would recommend, to be vulnerable and to be okay with telling the story and being okay with, I'm not perfect. Nobody is. And so I hope you enjoy this episode of the Boomer Bytes podcast. Make sure you tune in again. Everything that we talk about on all the podcasts is at boomerbytespodcast.com. There is a blog post that's dedicated to that category. So anytime we're giving out stuff, you can see what was available in other episodes. So tune in again, tell a friend, tell your family, tell someone you know about the Boomer Bytes podcast, and let me know if there's a topic you want us to cover. It might not be on my list. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you're living your best life.